right, we're going to call the meeting of the Finance Committee to order on April 5th, 2017. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alderman Wilshire.
Here.
Alderman O'Brien.
Present.
Alderman Clemmons.
Here.
Alderman Karen. Here. Alderman Siegel, I am present. And Mayor Donchis.
I'm here. Now, did anyone call in? I'd heard one of the members might call in, specifically Alderman Cookson, but, okay, apparently not.
Alderman Cookson is not in attendance today.
First item is public comment. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak to the committee? If not, communications.
Communications from Dan Kukin, Purchasing Manager, regarding Fire 2016 State Homeland Security Hazmat Grant Program, value $11,326. I'd like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and authorize the purchase from Safeware Incorporated in the amount of $11,326. Source of funding is Department 152, Fire Emergency Services, Homeland Security Grant Program.
Is there any discussion or questions concerning this motion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you for coming in.
It was incredible drama.
Alderman Siegel.
Communication from Dan Kukin, Purchasing Manager, regarding invasive species controlled management, value $95,728. I'd like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and award the contract to Solitude Lake Management in the amount of $95,728. Funds are available in Department 181, Community Development, other contracted services.
Now, Sarah Marchant, the Director of Community Development, is here to answer any questions concerning this, if any of the members have anything. Maybe, Ms. Marchant, you should come up. Alderman Clemmons.
Thank you. My question was, what exactly are we eradicating from the river? Is it milfoil, or is it the other invasive species that are there as well?
Yeah, so great question. So last year, Madeline Minot, the Waterways Manager, partnered with DES, and for the first time, we mapped the invasive species on the Nashua River. So we had a comprehensive mapping done, and basically we did, especially with a lot of volunteers, we had a phenomenal job of pulling out all the water chestnuts, but because we didn't treat right afterwards, the milfoil and one other, which is not going to come to my brain at the moment. I can get back to you with it.
Fanwort?
Yes, thank you. Milfoil and fanwort essentially took over everywhere. So this is a treatment that we're hoping is a one-time major treatment well, not one time, but a series of treatments this year as a one-time major expense that we will then be able to do very small treatments to keep it under control in the future.
For those two species?
It's, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, this is a 2-year contract, which will, if approved by the committee, need to go to the full board of Aldermen. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question would be, does this include divers as well, too, to eradicate what doesn't get chemically treated, where we go in and try to harvest the additional?
No, the water chestnuts are the ones that you need the divers and the harvesting for, and that was actually extremely successful to eradicate the water chestnuts. So we don't have that problem.
Okay, good.
So we don't need divers. Yep.
Alderman Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, all that stuff was actually in here, which was, I appreciate. There's a lot of information. And it also was fairly clear from the communication that this is almost necessary because there's blockage in the waterways, and so navigating the waterways for recreational boating is becoming difficult. And then, of course, the neighbors have been complaining, and rightfully so, because it's a problem. So nature takes over in a vacuum. The chestnuts did something good, but everyone
Not quite
else
what we
took,
wanted.
well, everything else took over. So I would highly recommend we do this.
Thanks.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that we should do, particularly because the river's used a lot by many boaters and things, and you know, obviously we want the river to be navigable, but the other issue is that if we have a major problem like this, it can be spread to other waterways just by boats going in and out of different rivers and lakes. So if Nashua does its job in taking care of this problem, we're going to help prevent problems in other areas around the state. So it's definitely a worthwhile cause.
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you. You bring up a very good point, Alderman Clemmons, and being a boater myself, perhaps I would like to ask, do we have signage at our portage places where we could put the boats in to make sure that the boats are cleaned, that
Do have, yes.
not to
We do have signage that we put up every year at the boat launch locations about that. Also about the no wake zone. Pretty much almost the entire river in Nashua, because of its width being so skinny, is a no wake zone. So we do put up signage every year for that. And to put a little plug in, we'll certainly the mayor will soon be doing a grand opening of a agreement that we brokered with Milliard Technology Park to allow their boat ramp to be public, right? So we're hoping to do an opening, I think, on August 22nd for that. So.
Great.
Alderman Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we should do it on its own accord. The idea that somehow we're helping our neighbors is not necessarily why we're doing this. I mean, it's nice to help them, but these invasive species breed without any help from boats. They've been doing it for millennia. So, you know, cleaning your boats is all well and good, but those things that are in the water don't care about your boat. So, again, let's just vote for this.
Alderman Clemmons.
Well, just for the record, they do care about your boat, because if you remove the boat from the water and go to another waterway and without cleaning your boat, you're going to spread it to that waterway, and that's a good way to get milfoil all across the state. So it is very important to understand that keeping this under control in the river, which is very popular with boaters and fishermen, is very important to the rest of the state as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess the biology lesson is over then.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman Siegel.
Communication from Dan Kuchen, Purchasing Manager.
Thank you, Ms. Marchand.
Regarding approval for sponsorship of Great American Downtown event, value $15,000. Motion by Alderman I'd like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and approve the sponsoring of the Spring Downtown Music Festival in the amount of $15,000. Source of funding is Department 183, Economic Development, Downtown Improvements Expendable Trust Fund.
So we have, to answer any questions concerning this, Mr. Cummings and Mr. Veo from Economic Development, as well as Ben Rudick from Great American Downtown. The source of the funds here, if it's not clear, are funds that were escrowed into the Downtown Improvement Reserve Fund as part of the escrow process last fall. I think we escrowed $170,000. And the Downtown Improvement Committee has approved this expenditure, and that's why it's before us. Are there any questions or comments or questions for our three gentlemen here? Three amigos? Why don't the three amigos come on up?
Three amigos.
Alderman Wilshire.
Thank you. I didn't really have questions, but thank you for being here this evening, and thanks for your work on this. This is really, I think, a really exciting thing to be doing in Nashua. I think it gets people downtown, it makes them want to go downtown, and it's really great. So thank you, and thanks for the work you put in on this. I will definitely support this.
Mr. Cummings.
Great, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you to the committee. Just very briefly to give you some specific details, but to make my comments very brief. The event will be on May 6th. It's an all-day event. We're expecting about 3,000 people in the downtown. About 25-ish acts have been secured so far. It will be over 4 different stages. We're really excited about this opportunity. This money has been set aside from the Downtown Improvement Committee, and we're looking forward to the sponsorship.
Now, it's the first of 3 concerts that Great American Downtown will be running in the downtown over the course of 2017. We are contributing towards this one. but the other two will be sponsored privately, one in the summer and one in the fall. I don't know if those dates are exactly.
They are. So there's a July 22nd event, which is a local focused event. The intent is to actually offer a record deal to an up and coming band. And so they're going to be judged based on attendance. So they're going to bring a lot of folks with them. And so I guess we're getting into the music production space too, which is cool. And then September 30th is going to be an American music focused event. This May event is more of an experimental vein and is more of an implant to New Hampshire. And the September event will be more of a tip of the hat to what's a little bit more traditional. And so your bluegrass, your Americana, that sort of stuff.
Sounds good. And you said September
30th.
30th. Alderman Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I very much support this event. I've spoken to Ben about it myself, so it's very good. What's the situation with sponsorships for the event that's being sponsored by this resolution, the first one? Do you have active sponsorship right now?
So that's something that we're still actively working on. The difficulty of aligning sponsors to an event that hasn't really occurred in the past is something that we're becoming very aware of, but we do have a good model of success here because the fall event, which was entirely supported by the city of Nashua and its subsidiaries last year, now has been attached to private sponsorship, and so the River Casino is going to be sponsoring that, and so we believe that as these events develop, it's a lot easier to attach private sponsorship, and so this initial seed money does help them to get off the ground.
Thank you.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes, just to further expand on that point, and that is the exact business model we're looking at for this particular endeavor, and it's the expectation that this would become self-sufficient as it moves forward after we've seceded it for this first round.
Alderman Clemmons.
And just to follow that up, I mean, that was discussed at the Downtown Improvement Committee, and that was the part of the expectation. So we're hoping that this is a really successful event and, you know, draws a lot of interest, and I think it will. So I'm looking forward to it. I certainly encouraged the Downtown Improvement Committee to put this money forth for this event, and I think it will be money well spent.
Alderman O'Brien?
Thank you. I would like to thank these gentlemen for bringing this forward, working on this. Love the stroll. Everything you have done has enhanced the quality of life here in Nashua, and I see this as another great venue. Here's your plug, gentlemen. Push it out there, but I will be there, and I really look forward to this and the ones in the future. Thank you.
Obie approved.
Alderman Karen?
I think these are great things to do downtown. I have a question. Do you show one performer for $7,000, or is that more than one performer for $7,000? You have a $7,000 talent.
So that's
budget.
that's the main stage. So the highest payment on a performer is $2,000.
Okay.
They're a pretty substantial act. Gandalf Murphy and the Slambovian Circus of Dreams is their
Okay.
official title.
Of course.
And
Up my
yeah, they're
brain.
from Sleepy Hollow, New York, and so pretty substantial travel budget for, I think it's a 7-piece band, and they are pretty established in the area. They've been playing at Tupelo for over a decade, and so we're confident that they're going to draw several hundred just on their own.
Alderman Karen?
Thank you. You said you have a date in July. Now, I love this, but there's a long time summer fund program, so have you worked with them? Because I know in the past, Summer Fund has done events downtown, like during lunchtime to draw people in, or later at night or supper time. So I'm wondering, have you been working with them at all to make sure you don't conflict with, especially a summertime date?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's an excellent point. We'll make sure that we do that moving forward. I don't know to answer your question, so we'll definitely look into that.
Okay, I really think it's important that, you know, you're not competing with each other,
Absolutely.
and it's very important, and also that they do have a lot of sponsors that work with Summer Fund for different events, and I think it would be a great hand in glove. I mean, it was for a long time, and I would like to see that continue.
Absolutely.
Not that I have no, you know, interest in it, but thank you. But I'm excited. I really think it's great. Thank you.
Alderman Clemmons?
Yeah, one final quick thing. This is, I was talking to Paul Shea the other day, and what's nice about this event too is that the Downtown Improvement Committee will be recognized as the main sponsor for this event. So, and what's great about that is that it reminds people that, you know, this is your parking money when you come downtown. That's helping to pay for these fun events and things that are going on downtown. It's the promise that we put in when we raised the parking meters years ago. You know, we promised people that we were going to do events like this, improve the aesthetics of downtown and things like that. So we're living up to our promise by doing things like this, and I think again, I look forward to supporting it.
Anything else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, and thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
Alderman Siegel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Communication from Dan Kuchen, Purchasing Manager, regarding 2017 paving program value $1,729,148. I'd like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and contingent upon Board of Aldermen approval, award the contract to EJ Paving Company Incorporated in the amount of $1,729,148. Funds are available in Department 161 Street General Fund Paving, Department 161 Street Trust Fund 54 Property Services, and Department 169 Wastewater, Sewer Structures, and Sewer Rehab.
Any discussion on the, or questions on the motion? Alderman Clemmons?
The streets that were chosen here are, this is not part of the, I believe it was discussed maybe last night or before the last budget meeting. These are not part of the Broad Street Parkway funds.
No,
That-
they are not.
Okay,
They are not. So this can't, this is coming from the roadway special revenue fund that we
Okay.
appropriated money into last year. So
Okay.
this is not the repurposing or anything like that.
okay.
Anything else?
No.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes.
Communication from Dan Kuchen, Purchasing Manager, regarding contract award for USDA Wildlife Management Services Agreement, value $67,103. Motion, I'd like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and contingent upon Board of Aldermen approval, award the contract to USDA Wildlife Services in the amount of $67,103 for FY18. Source of funding is Department 168, Solid Waste 53, Professional and Technical Services.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, we have none. Is there a motion on the record of expenditures?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinances pertaining to the record of expenditures for the period March 10, 2017 to March 30th, 2017.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. There are no members of the public to comment during the public comment session. Alderman Wilshire.
I have a question.
Somehow there's no committee,
Remarks by committee
remarks by
members.
committee on the thing. But anyway, we will open the agenda to remarks by committee.
Sorry about that.
Alderman Wilshire.
Thank you. The parking revenue downtown, what is the decline in that fund since Alex left downtown? Do we know what impact that might have had, if any?
Well, I can get a specific answer. My sense is that it hasn't really had that much effect, but Alderman
good.
Clemmons.
Yeah, last year it's actually up quite a bit from the previous year. And I think if all, well, actually this year it's going to be up from last year too, because they leased the parking lot. I mean, the parking garages are leased completely, 100%. So, and that's because of BAE leased those spaces at least till June. And the way that the the way it looks anyway, it looks like that's probably going to continue further. So hopefully, I think our revenues are for last year were pretty consistent with where they were in the previous years. There was a dip for that one time, and then this year, I think they're going to go. I think it's going to go up. So.
Good news. Thank you.
Alderman Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would suspect that Alex is a second order effect at best in the downtown. The weather probably has a huge impact also, so. Depends if it doesn't snow, we're in good shape.
Anyone else? Any comments from members of the committee? Alderman Wilshire.
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the meeting is adjourned at 7:22 PM.